It's Wednesday night. It's the best night of the week. It's May 24th, 2023. It's Double or Nothing week. Tonight was the go home episode of AEW Dynamite for Double or Nothing. Tons to talk about, tons to get into, so I won't blabble on anymore. But thanks for joining us. If you're joining us live on our YouTube channel and on our Twitter page, which is at Kicking Out Pod, if you're not following us already, you better do so. I'm Tanner Lee, along the coast, Paul Zarman, and the reigning defending KOP Predictions Champion, at least for one more episode, Austin Shepard.
One more episode. It's in the bag.
It's in the bag, he says. In the bag. We will see about that. We will see about that when we get into our predictions later on. But we got Dynamite to cover tonight. We, of course, have So What Do You Want to Talk About? Our new weekly Cody Rhodes segment to go over. And last week we were talking about our top 5 list of greatest pro wrestlers ever. We got that to go over too tonight. So we got a lot to cover. But first, Paul, I believe you have a question for Shep and for really all of us.
Hey, Shep, what you drinking?
Paul. Well, after last week's surprise, I'm a big Barstool sports fan. Always has been, and they're big on what they're called the high noon sun sips. So I've had some in the past, and I've come out with a new flavor. Or they came out with a new flavor, pineapple, and the pineapple one's amazing. I chug them; they taste like water. They're ridiculous, but you can't buy them individually 4-pack. So the other day, I needed to throw a couple in the old golf cooler to just in case I ran out of the normal concoction of kettle and bubbly, and I was left with a couple holes without anything to drink because I don't want to get dehydrated. It's on the golf course; it's sunny, it's hot. So I threw some watermelon ones in the bag. And I didn't have to drink them because my cocktails, my Yetis made it to the end of the 9 holes and I could refill. So I have some watermelon sun sips, high noon sun sips here. So, like I said, the pineapple ones are about a 9.9 out of 10 is how good those things are. I've never had the watermelon one, so here we go.
I think I have had watermelon before, but I don't remember if I liked it or not.
It's almost the same face we got last week.
It really was.
Yeah, I was so shocked because I didn't think you could make anything taste like Sunny D, and they did. I'm sure there's a bunch of chemicals in it. There we go. Not bad. It's like I figured this thing would be way too sweet. It's a little sour, which I dig. It's not as good as pineapple, of course. It's pretty damn good. Like, I picture sitting in a pool or floating in the lake, just slamming these about every 37 seconds.
37 seconds.
Well, they're gluten-free, no added sugar. Come on. I mean, we're going to be healthy when we do this. Watermelon high noons. You're up there. I'm going to give you 8.7.
Ooh, a little higher than Sunny D.
Yeah,
Right.
Sunny D
Just a little.
had some artificial flavoring that was like, I'm sure this is going to make me grow a third nipple or something, like Daddy Magic. But, again, floating in a pool, floating on the lake. These go down like water. You could drink 12 of them by the end of Freebird on the radio.
Perfect.
A live edition of Freebird. It's a little longer.
A little bit.
All right, Paul, what do you got tonight? What are you drinking?
Lemonade.
All right.
Lemonade. I'm just recycling and reusing the same bottle.
Okay. I thought you were going with a Mountain Dew. So that's why I asked. I saw the bottle.
Earlier.
Paul's always been big on the environment. I love it.
That's true.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, I am finishing up a Canada Dry ginger ale, but Double or Nothing, Vegas. Dynamite was in Vegas tonight. Rampage is in Vegas Friday
Oh.
at like it's gonna be like at noon.
Oh my God! You should give me a great. Are you doing a Vegas bomb?
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm not. I wanted to, but the day kind of got away from me today, and I didn't have
I would have
everything. So
I mean,
I
Vegas
know.
bombs are my
I know.
go-to.
I was gonna do one, but the day kind of got away from me. But I had one of these left in the fridge. It's the best I could do with the Vegas theme. This guy lives in Nevada. His ranch is in Nevada. That's Stone Cold Broken Skull IPA. So
I mean,
fish him off tonight.
you could have got worse.
Yeah, I could have done worse.
No, it's Stone Cold's a solid fit in there.
Have you guys watched any of his new kind of reality show, whatever you want to call it?
Not yet.
It's
No,
all right. It's all right.
I tried to watch some of it last season.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
But A&E is the one channel I wish YouTube TV had. For whatever reason, they don't. They have about every other channel you want, but A&E and them can't come to agreement. So it's kind of frustrating.
Well, I was actually just looking at things tonight with the increase in YouTube TV. Tanner, you'll appreciate this. You can now get Hulu TV with the live feature bundled with Disney and ESPN for cheaper than YouTube TV.
Doesn't shock me. It's the streaming wars, man. One will
Yeah.
come out with a deal, and the other one's got to top it. So
Yeah, it's not much cheaper, but when you get 3 different streaming apps, it kind of makes sense to go that way when
Sure.
one's already $20.
sure.
Disney.
Yep. So. All right, Paul. Let's dive into Dynamite, shall we?
Let's do this. Shocker! It's show open time, and that means Orange Cassidy's coming to the ring as he will take on Kyle Fletcher of Aussie Open for the AEW International Championship. Good, solid back and forth match. Fletcher, towards the end of the match, Fletcher aims for another move, but he gets countered by Cassidy, who rolls him up, which allows him to retain the AEW International Championship, which means we will see Orange Cassidy defend against 20 other gentlemen or women if Renee decides to get in there in the Blackjack Battle Royal for the AEW International Championship this Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty predictable. OC wasn't going to lose the title heading into Sunday, but still a fun match. I mean, the guys from Aussie Open can go. Kyle Fletcher and help me out, Mark Davis. I forgot his name, Mark Davis. And they were actually announced by Tony Khan tonight that they are all elite. They are signed, and Fightful Select had reported today that WWE and AEW were both interested, but AEW felt confident that they were going to sign them, and they did. So the tag team division gets even stronger in AEW, which is exciting to see. And it was pretty cool that Sean Ross Sapp also reported that Tony Khan paid for Mark Davis's surgery even before he was under contract with AEW, which is really cool. Really cool that a promoter would do that. So fun opener. I'm intrigued by who's going to be in the Blackjack Battle Royal on Sunday.
Yeah, I saw a couple of names, QT Marshall, Powerhouse Hobbs, Aaron Solo, I think, was in there.
Of course.
So besides anybody else interesting? Because those guys don't interest me right now.
Hobbs should. Well, they've screwed him up.
Hobbs should, but they've
screwed him up.
He's wrapped up in a stupid TMZ television gimmick with QT, and it's stupid, and I've lost interest in him. So
no, I'm right there with you, Shep. It's one of those things. I'm like, what are we doing here? Why? He doesn't need to be involved with this. He didn't need QT's help to win that title to begin with.
No, and he had some momentum going too.
He did.
He really did. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the only reason we know Aaron Solo is because he dated Bailey.
Bingo.
Yeah. Well, don't worry, because it gets interesting. Because Ricky Starks is shown backstage. Turns out, from what I gathered, he's going to be in the Blackjack. So
what the hell?
There's somebody interesting. But
yeah, but
then
what?
He's jumped by Juice and Jay, which tells me they're probably going to be in there as well.
What are we doing? Ricky Starks and Jay White should be on that card on Sunday as a singles match.
It should.
Jay White's such a big signing, and I just hate how
I have the
them.
wrong shirt on tonight, but if I had the pencil.
LB. Lazy booking.
Yeah, you're right. It's frustrating. Jay White should be not only on the card, but in a premium slot on the card.
And if you give him and Ricky 25, 30
tear
minutes,
it down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And which frustrates me a little bit because I feel like AEW snagged him because they caught Connecticut sleeping.
Yes.
So we got him. We won one there, right?
Yeah.
Let's not shit
Drop
the
the ball.
bed.
Well, and you're giving, the IWC, the non-AEW fans, reason to see, every time they sign a talent, they're hot for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then they disappear or they're down on the card. And it's kind of what they're doing with Jay right now. It's frustrating.
Yeah, but I think we'll see something big come out of this. I
hope you're right. I mean, he should be a big part of Forbidden Door with his connections to both companies. But we'll see.
Yes. Long-term storytelling, that's what we're going to go with.
He was a big part of it last year, so he should be again this year.
Yes. All right, up next we see Jack Perry backstage saying he drove to Las Vegas a lot, and each time he's a little bit different. One thing is always the same, which is the feeling of standing inside the ring, as that has given him a purpose. It lets him be the man he wants to be, and on Monday he will drive that road as AEW World Champion.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's a Jack Perry promo. I mean,
he's getting better, but he's not there yet.
100%.
I get it. Yeah, I agree. All right. Shep's segment of the night is now with FTR hitting the ring.
I like this.
Cash Wheeler says it would be easy to say Jeff Jarrett is trash, but he's outsmarted them every step of the way. However, he's been lucky, and on Sunday that runs out. Dax says a few guitars won't stop them, and to stay relevant, he attaches his name to the best team in the world today. If he thinks the head of the tag team division will be rejects from TNA, it's not going to happen. He thinks they should call Dixie Carter and make sure they have job security.
Yes. He called Karen Jarrett a bitch. He calls out Dixie. Oh, I thought it was great. I popped.
Oh,
yes. Lots of silences here because, they had to mute what Dax was saying.
Yeah, I still don't understand what they can say and what they can't say.
Well, because...
Right? It seems like it depends on the person sometimes.
It kind of does.
When later in the segment, Mark Briscoe came out, and I had it DVR'd, and my DVR was messed up, and I had to fix some things. So I went back and rewatched it real quick, about 10 minutes before we started this. And when my DVR messed up, they did not bleep out or censor out Mark Briscoe when he grabbed Lethal by the face and said, "I'm sick of this BS."
Right.
Okay, but it was weird when I fixed my DVR and the video wasn't choppy and I was cutting in and out. It bleeped it out. It was really weird.
That is weird.
I'm guessing at some point they didn't bleep it out, but they bleeped out everything else.
Oh yeah, I mean Dax was talking to Mark, and all you hear was fan noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Mark dynamic, I like it. He smacked Dax tonight, but then he smacked Jarrett. He laid Jarrett. He popped him pretty good in the ear.
Well, he about. I thought that he was going to push Karen
into the fans.
Yeah. So, a little intriguing part of the match. I still think that match could steal the show Sunday, as crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, I wish he would have popped
Satnam or Sanjay.
No, he kind of pushed Sanjay off the ramp. Satnam. I was going to come up with a more colorful nickname, but we'll just keep it at that. We'll keep it PG.
I thought he might hit Satnam below the belt, but He didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe
the way
we'll
he was
someday.
standing, I thought, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
All right, up next, because my notes went way out of order there. I just realized that. Next is Sammy Guevara shown backstage with Renee,
Sammy
who
Guevara.
tells him MJF offer still stands if he just lays down on Sunday. Guevara says it's a lot of money, but he won't lay down. Instead, he will take the title from him.
Why do I feel like he's going to steal the show in the main event? And what I mean by that, I don't expect him to be victorious, but I'm going to come away and say, God dang, like this guy, even though I say it all the time, he can go in the ring. I just expect him to be the one I'm talking about after the match.
Because he's going to have 2 or 3 high spots.
So will Darby.
But, yeah, but
it'll be a high spot off between Darby and Sammy.
Yeah, with Darby or with Sammy, he makes the point to do the like, hey, it's coming. You better watch.
Yep.
With Darby could pull one out of midair.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So yeah, they're both going to have some probably things that we cringe.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
How long do you guys think they give that Fatal 4-Way? And do you guys think it main events?
It's got a main event.
Better.
It's got. Yeah, looking at this card, it's got a main event. The only other main event it could be Anarchy Rules with the Elite and
BCC.
So if you don't main event the 4 Pillars match, it's got to lead the show off. And if it leads the show off, it goes 35, 40 minutes. But if you are building this match the way they're building it, like these 4 guys started this show, it almost seems disrespectful not to give them the main event.
I think story, even though I have enjoyed the 4 Pillars story, I know a lot of people haven't, but I have. It's been a long-term story. But I will say I like the Elite BCC story better. So from a story aspect, I think that would be better fit the main event. But I'm old school enough. I like my world title to be in the main event no matter what. So I think it gets the main event slot. I'm hoping they at least go 25 minutes.
And
4 guys, they deserve that.
Yeah, and if you're the Anarchy Rules match, that's a tough placement on the card if you're Tony, because you know that match is going to have stupid high spots, blood, and more blood. And so whatever match you put after that to follow it is going to be kind of everybody's going to have they're going to sit down. They're going to be like, all right, let's take a breath. Let's take a match off type deal. So it's a tough placement on the card there.
Last year he put Anarchy in the arena before the main event, and it stole the show. But why he did that, if you guys remember correctly, that Game 7 of, I believe, the Eastern Conference Finals was during Double or Nothing last year. And so Tony kind of stacked the show to be the last 3 matches to be really, really strong. So when those people that were watching the game that want to watch the pay-per-view might tune in then. So that's he kind of strategically did that last year, which this year there won't be a Game 7 on Saturday or Sunday, excuse me.
And I could be one of the few because I love a ton of sports, but I could give 2 you-know-whats about the NBA. And hockey's still going on. Marty McSorley, I think, starting Game 6, but
hockey's still going on too.
Yeah. But when it comes to the NBA, come on. Yeah. It's more fake than professional wrestling. Quote me.
Yeah, I like that.
It's on the internet, Shep.
But you brought up a good point. I don't know where you put Anarchy in the arena. Storyline, it should be late in the card, but if you put it before the main event, that could be once again that could be the one everybody's talking about after the show.
It could be, and that would take them for. I'm gonna call them young men because they're way younger than me. That would put those 4 young men at a pretty tough spot and a lot of shoes to fill, especially if they got 30, 35 minutes, you know. And I'm guessing maybe maybe give them 40 minutes, and 10 minutes of that is going to be because they're going to have some great entrances. I'm guessing we're gonna spice them up a little bit for this, but yeah.
You guys remember last year when they let Wild Thing play on a loop like 3 times? That was good. That was great. Kingston came out with the gasoline at the end.
Kind of like a zombie walking down.
That was good stuff.
Kingston's a legend.
He is. Hopefully he's back soon after his surgery.
All right. Next up on the card, House of Black versus AR Fox, Metalik, and Blake Christian for the AEW World Trios Champion. This match went longer than I expected it to. But back inside, all 3 members of House of Black lock up each one of the other guys in a submission move. And AR Fox taps to the inverted Texas cloverleaf.
Buddy used his girlfriend's submission.
Yeah, he's sending a message to a little Mysterio.
Yeah, I enjoyed this match.
Mine.
I thought the presentation was cool. I love the presentation of the House of Black, though. I think they are presented better than anybody in AEW, maybe arguably professional wrestling. I thought the first one they did a couple weeks ago was cool, but I thought the presentation night was even cooler with the lights and everything. So, man, these guys, I know we get them on TV a lot now, but I wish we got them on TV every week.
Yeah, and like you guys were talking earlier, I think we'll get a trios match on Rampage.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be anything spectacular, but
well, they almost have to put it on the card because you got every other championship, and you already said Acclaimed and Daddy Ass are the number 1 contenders. So something's probably going to happen on Rampage to set it up for Sunday. But as of right now, only 9 matches are on the card, and that's what we're predicting tonight. There could be 2 to 3 more added because you can argue maybe Jay White and Starks gets added, and the one that needs to is Keith Lee and Swerve. That thing's been going on for like 7 months, and we haven't got the final payoff.
right.
But
Well, the baseball player's hurt.
Trench, whatever, Trench. I think Trench.
The baseball player.
Yeah.
So
well, I like his new group's better anyways than those guys, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Swerve doesn't need a faction, and neither does Keith Lee.
No.
Keith Lee does, and as much as I appreciate and respect Dustin Rhodes, Keith Lee does not need Dustin Rhodes.
I agree.
Yeah. I think those two just wanted to work together, though.
Could be.
Just my personal opinion. All right, up next, the Blackpool Combat Club are shown backstage saying tonight they're claiming the tag titles, and Objective 2 is ending the Elite this Sunday. Jon Moxley says they're the best in the world, and his hand doesn't shake when he says that. That's the standard they set for themselves.
I thought these guys knocked out of the park. I mean, they almost makes you want to root for them a little bit. You know, saying that they're the best in the business, they do it the right way, this and that. I thought Moxley was so strong on the promo. Danielson was good too, but I thought Mox carried that. And, yeah. And even Yuta and Claudio in the back looking intimidating and tough and saying that they were going to win the ROH tag titles. Thought really good stuff out of this group tonight.
I almost got to the fact where this whole thing reminded me of a Cornette segment, but then I forgot Cornette hates Moxley. But he hates the Elite even more.
Right.
So I almost felt like we had Moxley just kind of incorporating what a Cornette would say about the Elite and his opinions and feelings on them. And I'm like, man, completely, we're talking about guys that do flips and all this stuff, and then we got professional wrestling. You know, I thought it was really good, and just brings out that there's two different styles here.
Yeah. Up next, MJF makes his way to the ring, throws Tony Schiavone out, or throws Tony Schiavone's drink all over him, takes shots at all of his opponents, then says he's aware of how important Sunday's match is. People like to throw around the word homegrown, and it doesn't get more homegrown than them. And unlike some of people's faves, they didn't need to be on national television first. They have beaten the best, given the best matches, and the best moment in history of AEW. They're not just part of AEW, they are AEW. However, he doesn't want to be anymore. He's bored and sick of this place. He's sick of the lack of competition and the fans who don't show him the respect he deserves. He says Tony Khan knows that, and he knows that his contract is coming up. He points it out and points out that it's a coincidence he's fighting 3 other men where he doesn't even have to be pinned to lose this championship. MJF claims he might take ball and go home because this is his ball that he earned this Sunday. People will find out his opponents are talented, but like the rest of the roster, none of them are on the level of the devil. Darby Allin heads down and says he knows exactly who he is, but that wasn't always the case. And as he's used to clean toilets, but then he lived in his career, and said he didn't deserve to leave it until he became a wrestler, and then AEW saved his sanity. He says no other company lets him skateboard with Tony Hawk, and next year he is climbing Mount Everest. He wants to be the face of AEW, and to do that, he needs the world championship. And this Sunday, he is doing it. And he might do it with a headlock takeover. MJF responds with a low blow. He aims to use the diamond ring until Sammy Guevara chases him away. However, Jungle Boy then turns up, and he drops MJF on the ramp and poses with the title.
Did you guys?
These 4 guys, I thought.
Did you guys feel like there was some, maybe not shots, but some call outs or some attention sent to Punk tonight with Blackpool Combat Club saying best in the world, and then tonight MGF talking about taking his ball and leaving?
Yes.
Coincidence.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering that too. And MJF, just when I was thinking he was starting to drop the 2024 thing, he kind of brought it back tonight a little bit. He didn't say anything about 2024, but he said contract's coming up soon. Because just earlier this week, I was listening to, I don't know what podcast it was, and they were discussing how he's kind of dropped that as part of his shtick, you know. So, but now he kind of brought it back tonight.
Maybe he'll let that go till the end of the year.
Yeah.
You know.
I still would be surprised if he's not signed.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he's signed past 2024.
If he's signed, they would not do their due diligence if they did not play that into the role towards the end of the year. And what we got, Revolution in November, right?
Full Gear.
Full Gear, sorry.
Yep.
Play that into going into Full Gear. Use that as a stick, as a gimmick. Make us think that, holy cow, he really might not be signed.
Yeah. So, and he's the type of person, you know, he lives kayfabe, and even if he is signed, he won't tell anybody. So,
and I thought the best part of this part was when Darby came out and MJF goes, I don't care if you're wearing stilts or not, or whatever he said about those boots that Darby wears.
Yeah.
It made Darby almost taller than MJF.
Yeah.
Which we know that's not true.
Where's Sting? We haven't seen Sting in a while.
He's
on the poster for Double or Nothing.
Yeah, he's
saving up so Shivani can yell, "It's Sting!"
Well, I'm sure you guys hit on it, but how about MJF throwing the cup of water on Shivani tonight?
It was great. Hopefully
Yeah.
Shivani comes out with a blazer when that happens, and the lights cut out, and his blazer just says it's Sting on it or something
That'd be
like
awesome.
that. That'd be great.
That would be awesome.
MJF spit his gum at a fan tonight.
But what else is new?
That was interesting.
At least he didn't throw tequila / vodka on a little
That's
kid.
true. That's true. we're making improvements.
We're getting there.
He does whatever the hell he wants. He doesn't care. Gotta love him for
He
that.
didn't know it wasn't water.
But he did. I thought it was really good. He put over those other guys tonight in that promo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
He
good.
did.
It was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. He's always good on the mic.
All right. Up next, Taya Valkyrie versus Lady Frost. In the closing moments of this match, Valkyrie gets back control with a knee strike, then hits the Road to Valhalla for the win.
I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was
It was a good match.
good women's match, one of their better ones in a while. Yeah, I like Lady Frost too. I'm hoping they sign her. I was disappointed last time around when they had a chance they didn't do so, and then she went to Impact
Yeah,
for a
she
while.
was Impact, yeah, for a while.
But which I can't really blame her because that women's division over there is awesome. But her time up there is up, so she's a free agent again. And her and Taya have had some battles in the past, but good stuff. And makes, it was their first match since the suspension on April 26th from Mark Sterling and Jade Cargill. So now we're getting a rematch Sunday at Double or Nothing. And predictions times will tell if we think it's
Valhalla is.
Yeah, predictions time after this. We'll see if any of us are predicting if it's her time to lose to Tyler or not.
I mean, I don't know if Paul's going to pick up on this. Tanner will appreciate this. When you say Road to Valhalla, I'm thinking of the PGA Championship next year.
Yeah. I have a funny story about I went to that last time I was there, and my dad cost me some money in a bet with my mom that day. So I'll save that for a different pod, but it's a funny story.
Last time I was at Valhalla, I was playing with Kenny Perry.
You played there.
I played with Kenny Perry there.
That's cool.
And I played the golf course, and I'm going, I remember the Ryder Cup. That's what I remember from. And I vividly remember the first hole. And if you remember back then, there was a guy by the name of Boo Weekley.
Oh, yeah. Riding the horse.
Boo was just a hillbilly son of a buck. He laced the drive, and he rode the horse down the fairway. And I remember standing on the first tee going, I can just pick. I mean, I looked at the hole, and I remember Boo. I mean, obviously we didn't have fans there, even though, I mean, I was there. I mean, let alone a Hall of Famer, Kenny Perry, but whatever. But yeah, so when I hear Valhalla, that's what I think of. Sorry.
Yep. Nope. I'm right there with you.
With old Tyra Valkyrie, but whatever.
I would think most AEW fans probably don't think like you and me when they hear that shit, but that's all right.
No, most of them probably think, Norse mythology.
Yeah, Vikings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't like the Minnesota Vikings. They suck.
They do suck.
Yeah. Purple, Boo, purple. What are you shaking your head for, Paul?
Because I graduated as a Viking.
At
Just not Minnesota.
least you weren't purple.
No, I was green.
Green and piss yellow.
Yeah. I was okay with the green.
Well,
It's all right. Austin and I were zebras, and we get made fun of enough for that. So
that's true.
All right, so up next, we go backstage. TK mentions or reveals that the first episode of AEW Collision will be taking place from the United Center in Chicago.
Whoa, shocker.
Right?
dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
What happened to Daly's place?
It's clobbering time. That's what.
Yep.
Whoa, who?
Cookie Monster's back.
Everybody's
Get the ice cream bars ready.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, wrong guy.
Now, Shep, in your opinion, should they announce him ahead of time or no?
If they have trouble selling tickets, yes.
Which so far they have for Collision in
but-
Canada.
I don't know how big of a draw he is in Canada, but if I don't know how their ticket sales are going for Chicago because I know they've had the show on the schedule as a live event before.
Tickets weren't on sale though. Tickets
No,
will
they
be.
don't.
I mean, they will
Friday.
officially now. Yeah.
So
I think United Center is about the only building they could do a short notice like this and have a good attendance.
I mean, United Center though. I mean, it's an NBA
It's the biggest NBA arena. Also, it's a little over 20,000. I looked it up the other day. It's one of 3 NBA arenas in the 20s, including Little Caesars, which AEW just ran a show at not too long ago. But the United Center is the biggest one, and they completely sold it out for the first dance. So
Just off of a rumor.
yeah. So it'll be interesting. I don't know. The marketing guy in me thinks with that brand new show, tough time slot, especially in the fall. And I know that June 17th isn't in the fall, but I'm thinking maybe they should, or at least give a real strong hint. But we'll see. We got time till then. Or better yet, I'll question it. Do you guys think there's any way he shows up Sunday?
Ooh.
The only thing I thought of is if he showed up Sunday and cost the Elite. But I think there's going to be so much going on during Anarchy Rules that it could get lost in the fray, so don't waste it.
Yeah, and the rumor is his first program. I don't know if it's a program. A first match back could be with Samoa Joe, which would be awesome, given their ROH history. But it's gonna be. I'm more intrigued on, is this hard brand split happening, and if so, how are they going about doing it?
I don't want a hard brand split. I don't want Connecticut.
They have the roster to do so, but I don't know if they have the business strategy to do so. Does that make sense?
They have the roster to do it, and right now they did a really good job when they introduced ROH, and then Warner said, "Hey, look, we want less ROH," and they have done a really good job of that. And we've done the only ROH talents on upcoming pay-per-view is Claudio and Mark Briscoe, right?
And Wheeler.
But he's not a title holder, is he?
He was.
He was, but he's. I guess I was talking prominent. Guys, but So,
you're saying you don't like Wheeler Yuta? You think he's weak?
I mean, he's grown on me. He wasn't my favorite 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But
I will say I like
my top 5, Paul.
I like the presentation of Collision so far. I like the throwback logo similar to Nitro. I think the graphics look real slick so far. They need to make it feel like a big deal on the same tier as Dynamite. But what I don't like, just from a KOP standpoint, I know we haven't really figured out what we're going to do, if anything, with Collision yet. But as of right now, if they do a hard brand split, we're only going to be talking about half the roster when we're doing these podcasts.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys want me on a Saturday night or about 11 o'clock, boys.
None of us want on a Saturday night.
It can be pretty entertaining.
Although, I mean, Sunday morning, about 10:30, I'm a little busy. I put a little suit and tie on.
Yep.
I get up and I preach a little bit, but Sunday afternoon after golf or after whatever I do, I mean, that could be entertaining too. I like my weekends a lot.
I know.
I like my Wednesday nights.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. We'll figure something out. Maybe we don't do it every week and we pick and choose. But
yeah,
it's like I told Paul. Football season is where I'm gonna have the hurdle.
Oh yeah,
college football and NFL. That's kind of where my weekends are at. Football season, but figure it out.
You footballers,
we'll figure it out. Well, you're a Browns fan. Shush.
Oh, you're a Browns fan.
I can't really talk. My team sucked the last 7 years. So.
I mean, I have the worst general manager in Indianapolis. So
arguably owner too.
Dude, he's a badass.
Oh my God! All right, Next, Paul. Next.
Before we get down into that, Adam Page is then shown backstage, and he doesn't know if he and Kenny were ever really friends, but they were something more important: family. Family sticks together, and this Sunday it leads to anarchy in the arena, and the BCC will pay in blood.
Adam Page always speaks from the heart, and I love it.
Yes. Speaking of Adams speaking from the heart, it's time for the contract signing. Adam Cole and Chris Jericho. Now, I'm not going to go over this whole thing. We'll recap it. We'll recap it.
Hey, it looks like we have a WWE fan in the comments on YouTube. It says Roman Reigns destroys all AEW. Well, spelled Reigns wrong, for one.
Put the asterisk.
But no, Roman's good talent, but I don't know if he destroys the whole company.
No. I think he's very, very entertaining. I think he is obviously one of the top 3 in the sport today over all promotions. I think his storyline over the last 6 to 8 months has been awesome. They've done a hell of a job with that.
But he should have lost at Mania.
Man, yeah, and
we'll get into that.
We'll get into that in another segment, but yeah.
But back to the
if you're gonna say he's gonna destroy them all, spell his name right.
Back to the contract signing. I'm not a big contract signing guy, especially for a unsanctioned match. But
I was trying to find something. I saw the pretty interesting statistic regarding Reigns, but I can't find it now. And that was Orange Cassidy is 2 title defenses less than Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is quickly approaching 1,000 days, and Orange Cassidy hasn't even broke 300 yet.
I believe it.
I used to bag on Pockets, but I kind of like him now.
He's grown on Shep.
He is.
Yeah.
What the hell was I going to say? Paul, you had me thrown off there for a minute. Oh, I don't know. Next. God damn it, Paul.
Contract signing.
Oh, yeah. I don't like contract. Like you said, I don't like contract signing, but this kind of made sense because Shivani said, hey, look, this is an unsanctioned match, so we have no liability of what you two jackalopes do. So it worked a little bit here. It's different than, hey, it's a contract match, champion versus this, blah, blah, blah. No, this is an unsanctioned match. Tony Khan has zero liability over you two, so no matter what the heck you do, we're out. That makes sense to me at this point.
Yeah.
I thought Adam Cole was very passionate tonight. I did like the fire he showed. And, of course, I like the surprise. The AEW debut of a legend. Didn't have that on my bingo card this year.
No.
I mean, very random.
No.
Very odd.
I liked it, but it's still 3-on-5.
I thought when he was bringing back, I thought KOR maybe. I knew it was probably too fast still with his double neck fusion, but I was ready to pop. And then, when he said suicidal, homicidal, genocide, I'm like, are you kidding me? I didn't even know Sabu was from Vegas to begin with, though.
So the next thing I think is they pay for, if obviously Sabu's going to have some type of involvement.
He's a special enforcer. Yeah, he's in Cole's corner.
Backup, and who's the next guy that we're going to see? Who's Sabu going to call in?
Hack. Take it away, Paul. Yep.
Hack. We're going to see Sandman.
Yeah.
I'll put an extra 5 bonus points on the KOP prediction that we see Sandman in that match.
Tony loves ECW.
Yes.
So
he talked about flying his dad's private jet to Philly to watch that shit.
Yeah.
And go to that shithole. He said,
yeah.
His dad. Could you imagine what his dad thought about? Like this is what my son wanted. We fly the private jet and we go into this arena. They call it arena.
Yeah.
this bingo hall, and this is what my son has got me into. Can you imagine the conversation?
He would get good grades just so he'd go to ECW shows.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So Hack is coming.
Good, nice chair shot thrown at who did he hit with that though?
Daddy Magic.
Was it Daddy?
Daddy Magic.
His nipples were hard.
He got a little taste of the chair.
He bounced off his nipples.
Hey, you know that DraftKings commercial? He always says, "Who gets the chair?" He got the chair tonight.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Roderick Strong versus Daniel Garcia. I'm trying to keep this thing moving here.
I know. You are. At this point, I'm going to have to get the charger for my laptop real quick here in a minute.
whatever you got to do.
Towards the end of the match, Garcia goes for a roll-up. It doesn't work. He follows it with a series of slaps, and he then plants Strong down to the mat. But he's able to kick out. He then locks in the Dragon Tamer, but Strong gets out and hits a gut buster, and then end of Heartache.
Roderick Strong's becoming one of my favorite AEW wrestlers already. Very fast. They're giving him a push. I mean, 2-0 already with wins over Jericho and Daniel Garcia. Garcia gets yet another loss handed to him, but I don't know, man. I like the way Roddy works. I like his theme song a lot. So I'm all for it.
Do we all still think it's SRS when he comes out?
Nah, I'm used to it now. I like Sean's reporting, but I think Roddy can go a little more in the ring than Sean.
Well, probably. Probably. All right, main event time. The Lucha Bros versus the BCC for the ROH World Tag Team Championships. Towards the end of the match, Phoenix drives Yuta down to the mat, but he is still able to kick out. BCC responds with a fastball special, but Phoenix kicks out this time around. Castagnoli takes a cheap shot, and Alex Abrahantes then distracts the official, which allows the Lucha Bros to hit the your winners and still ROH World Tag Team Champions, the Lucha Bros. And then, of course, post-match, Moxley promises this Sunday will be the most violent match in the history of AEW. He says, if you've been offended, then buckle your seatbelts. You've not seen anything yet. Only he was a little more colorful when he said it.
Good match. I like the ending with the Young Bucks getting involved there, giving Claudio a bunch of super kicks. Did you guys notice Matt Jackson's shirt tonight?
Mm-hmm.
I did not.
Super kick party, but it was one of the Bullet Club ones.
Oh.
Yep.
It just had like the kind of those down arrows. It didn't have the Bullet Club logo, but it had down side. So I'm like, I wonder if he had to get permission to wear that or not. But
And the super kick party was done up in the Bullet Club lettering.
Right. So no Kenny tonight on Dynamite, which was interesting. But
Yeah, how do you have a go home show with maybe arguably one of your biggest stars and you don't have him on there?
yeah, that was a miss. But
LB.
he should have been involved in that last segment. But yeah, that was good. If that's your last segment for you go home, you have your some main players right there. So I was all for it.
What if you would have had that little segment we had, and then with 2 minutes, 1 minute to go, and Moxley's got the mic, all of a sudden you cut backstage and you have Omega just screaming at Moxley, and there he is on the floor with a bloody Don Callis.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd have been great. Because you know that
way.
that's what everybody's got to pop with when Kenny and Mox come face to face on Sunday. Do you guys think Takeshita gets involved Sunday? I know a lot of people are complaining that we haven't seen him on TV for about a month.
Yeah. I mean, Anarchy Rules, we're going to have some surprise guests, right?
Always.
So you're going to have Don Callis, Takeshita. I don't know who we're going to see with the Elite. We, obviously with the Bucks, Omega, and Hangman.
Oh, I think I know if we get one more.
I
I know
think
who's
I
gonna
have
be.
one. We haven't seen him on any prominent television since 19 or
It's been a while.
the COVID. But I mean, are you thinking the same thing I'm thinking?
Golden?
No, no. I know we talked about it in the past, but this guy made a comment on social media about Ricky Starks.
I don't know who to think about.
The villain.
Oh, I don't think they go there. It'll be Kota
I've
Ibushi
worn
if
off on
anybody.
Shep.
No. Marty Scurll will not be a part of AEW. No.
Ever?
Never.
Well, okay, let's not forget last year during this exact same match, Conan showed up and he's not a part of AEW.
Hey, Tanner, if Marty ever shows up on AEW, you have to wear a IU jersey for a podcast.
No, I'm not doing that. No.
Okay. So you're not too confident.
I'm confident, but I'm not doing that. I'm not. Nope. Don't want that crap in my house. But I am really confident. I was ready to do whatever else you were going to say, but that's one thing I won't do. So
All right, you got to do 8 shots of tequila in a row.
make sure I take the next day off work.
All right. No,
I have a bucket beside me. I enjoyed what Marty used to do as an act. I don't know enough about his legal situation, everything that happened, but I just think TK stays away from him for a PR standpoint.
For what I can read, he's been cleared of all accusations and he's fine. He has done some stuff with is it AAA or
AAA?
Or is it CMLL?
I think it's both.
Is it both? Okay.
I think it's both.
He's working in Mexico. Let's put it that way.
But now I've been predicting Takeshita turns heel, Kota Ibushi debuts. They got a lot of other big shows coming up too, so maybe they hold off on that one. Maybe that's something closer to All In. Because Kota has said he wants to work with AEW, and you got to think Kenny wants to work with him again. A lot of history there. That will tug at the original AEW fans' heartstrings too.
And remember, as this feud really took off before Don turned, Kenny was spending a lot of time on his phone.
Yes, he was. And last time we saw Takeshita, he was bleeding. Don bled. When you bleed, you usually become part of the BCC. So it's intriguing. It's a great story they're telling. So a lot of layers.
Moxley bleeds on house shows.
Oh, he's got to bleed buckets Sunday.
Moxley bleeds in the shower. What are you talking about? The water hits him and he starts bleeding. We'll wait for Shep to get back here before we wrap up with the Dynamite segment. Yeah, I'd like to say I have rubbed off on Shep since he is now pulling for the villain.
I like what Marty did with the Bullet
Day
Club.
one of KOP, I was convinced he was coming, but
I just don't see it.
if so, I'll eat crow. I don't want to see him with the. Yeah,
we haven't seen Flip Gordon. I think that's another reason too.
Yeah. Flip kind of got pulled down with all that because he was riding with those guys.
And he made some comments too, some more political comments. I think that hurt him.
Yeah. Good old days. I still just want to yell book Flip.
That was a fun ROH New Japan days.
Yep.
For sure.
It sure was. But no, I think my thing is if Marty comes in, I'd rather see him go with Jay and Juice.
I just have a feeling if the Bucks and Kenny wanted him in, he'd be in. I don't know where their friendship lies, but because last time we saw him on main television, he was a kind of head of creative for ROH, and Tony's got the rights of ROH now. So, I don't know.
And last time he was on BTE, they ignored him.
Long time ago, and we have seen Flip on BTE since once.
Yes.
But
hi, Shep. Welcome back.
Hey, I had to make a pit stop.
All right, so guys, let's do this. Let's wrap up Dynamite with Superstar of the Night. Shep, go first.
I can't believe I'm saying this. Pockets.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Dax for his promo.
That's why I put him first.
Here's why. He has consistently delivered over the last 6 weeks. I don't know over the 6 weeks how many times he's let off the show, but it's
4 probably.
Yeah, at least. The dude's got to be banged up. I think there's some dirt sheets saying that he is banged up, but he continuously does what he does, and he's growing very, very little with me week after week, getting brownie points. I'm taking my hats off to Pockets. Mad respect. He is my wrestler of the night.
It's a good one.
All right. Okay, so I found what I was looking for earlier. Roman Reigns has 28 title defenses in 998 days. Orange Cassidy has 23 defenses in 225 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, hats off to Orange Cassidy. You can't go wrong there.
That and spell Roman Reigns' name right if you're going to give a shit about it, pal.
Roman Reigns is spelled ORANGECASSIDY. All right, Tanner, who's your pick?
Tough one tonight. I feel like you can go with a lot of people, male or female. I'm going to go Buddy Matthews. Just for using his girlfriend's finish.
Sending that message to Dominic.
Used mommy's finish.
Yeah. All right.
I could go down a big old rabbit hole right now, but I'm not.
We
got too much left in the pod.
Yeah, we do.
All right. I'm going with somebody who lost tonight. I'm going to go Lady Frost.
I did that. I like that. She's good.
Just because she came out, showed what she can do, and put on a hell of a match.
She's good. She's got a unique look. I'd be all for AEW signing her.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Rating of the show. Tanner, you're going first.
Yeah, I thought it was a good go-home show. I thought it was one of those shows where the promos were more intriguing than the in-ring work necessarily. I mean, there was nothing like that made me think, oh, my God, I have to buy this show on Sunday. I was going to buy it no matter what anyways, even if tonight's Dynamite was the worst ever, because I always get the pay-per-views, and I really like Double or Nothing. But with all that said, it could have been a lot worse. I still think the show's going to deliver Sunday, even though the build-up hasn't been the best we've ever seen, but it hasn't been the worst we've ever seen for AEW pay-per-view. With all that said, I'm going 7-3 tonight.
All right.
I thought it was a better show than expected, just because we're building up to it's a go-home show. I know we got Rampage on Friday, but to me, it's a go-home show.
Yeah.
I thought they hit on a lot of their key feuds going into this. I know we haven't had the longest storytelling going into this pay-per-view. But yeah, I was entertained. I was, man, I'll be quite honest. I was like 7-3-2. So I'm gonna go a little bit more. I'm gonna go 7-4.
Oh, I'm lowering Shep.
Yeah, and I'm always the guy that's slow. I'm the negative guy. I'm the one that I'm the pessimist, and Tanner's the optimist. But
Now I got the middle finger ready for Paul because he's just gonna do it to do it.
he's going 7.
I'm going what, Shep?
No, he's gonna go above you.
Oh, okay.
So I'm the lowest.
No, actually, I'm not. I was not entertained by tonight's show. The promos kept me, but the matches didn't really keep my attention tonight. I'll be the first to admit that. I am probably the lowest, and Tanner, you can go back and look because I think this is the lowest I've ever given. 6-7.
Yeah.
I think you've been lower one other time, but I could be wrong. I thought you went about 6-3 or 4 one time.
Okay.
I think there was one show that we all just crapped on one week. I don't remember what it was. It was a while back.
It didn't keep my attention tonight outside of the promos. So,
Well, you know, I'm sure they'd rather your attention be on Sunday. So,
yeah.
yeah.
All right. So, who's leading the predictions? You or me, Tanner?
I'll take it. You've read enough tonight, so I'll take it.
All right. Good.
Yeah,
Because I just wrote down.
Yeah,
I just wrote down opponents. I didn't write down the actual matches.
So as of right now, we have 9 matches announced for Double or Nothing. All said and done, we'll probably have 11 or 12. They haven't announced anything for the 0 hour. Which, by the way, where the hell's Hook been? I don't know why. I just thought of Hook, but 0 hour made me think of Hook.
I just saw in the fantasy group we're in, Tanner.
Yeah.
Somebody posted a picture of Hook holding his title in a ring, and AEW apparently has a new ref, and they were asking who the ref was.
I wonder if it's because they are doing like 1 or 2 dark matches without airing them, traditional dark matches. So I wonder if he was on one of those because Abaddon returned last week on a dark match.
Might have been.
So, and she looked in phenomenal shape, by the way. All
yeah,
right.
she lost a bunch of weight and toned up a lot.
So we have 9 matches we're picking from. We'll start with one that's been built heavily on Rampage with Ethan Page and the Guns versus, I'm going to call them the Hardy Party. It's Isaiah Cassidy, Matt Hardy, and Jeff Hardy. And the stipulation is if the Hardy Party wins, they get Ethan Page contract.
All right.
Shep, lead us off.
Jeff Hardy doesn't lose in his return. The Hardys for 7.
7. Paul?
I don't have as much confidence as Shep does, but I went the Hardy Party for 3.
Hardy Party for 3. I'm a little higher than you, Paul, a little lower than Shep. I went Hardy Party for 4. I agree with Shep. No way Jeff Hardy loses in his return. But there's some other ones I'm more confident in than this one. So I guess the Ethan Page contract thing might throw me a little bit, but as an Ethan Page fan, I would love to see his contract owned by the Hardys, and maybe we get a face turn out of him. I think that'd be fun.
Mark.
That's all right. I like Ethan Page. I think he's very underrated.
Yes,
He wrestled against the green screen.
Karate Man.
Sorry.
Hey, you know what? Kenny Omega has wrestled an Invisible Man and an inflatable doll, and look where he's at.
It's very true.
Well, the inflatable doll is kind of a legend over there in Japan. So,
Joey Janela's done the same thing, but I'm not putting him as a legend. TNT title ladder match: Wardlow versus Christian Cage. We'll go same order.
me first.
Okay.
Yep.
I got Christian Cage
Ooh,
upset 3 points.
3.
Shep, seriously, can we stop agreeing on people? I picked Cage for the upset for 2.
Oh boy, here's the difference. I got Wardlow retaining for 2. As a Wardlow fan, I'm going to be pissed if he loses because third time the guy's had the TNT title, give him a little run. And if you're going to have him lose, don't have him lose to Christian Cage. He can lose. I don't even want Dinosaur Man to have it either, but I'd rather that than Christian. So, but it is Christian's match, ladder match. So, going War Dog for 2.
And I feel the TNT is just a freaking hot potato.
That's why I'm saying just keep it on him for a little longer. Just a little longer.
Be consistent, Tony.
Yeah.
Keep passing it on.
All right, the TBS title. This is one that has stayed on Jade for a long, long time. She's 50+0. Jade Cargill versus Taya Valkyrie.
60.
Is she up to 60 now?
60.
They said 60 tonight.
Well, it's legit. It's not Goldberg streak. Jade Cargill versus Taya Valkyrie.
Taya for 5. Jade's going to cost me the belt again, but it's time to take the damn belt off of her and escalate her to the championship title picture. She is a star. I know she's green in the ring, but she is a star. Move her up, and let's move on with things. Taya Valkyrie could hold that TBS title and do it well. She's a hell of a performer. Let's move on. I finally win this one now. There's my sales pitch.
Until I come in and say, look, as much as I'd love for Statlander to be the one to dethrone Jade, nobody knows what's happening with Statlander, so I'm going Taya for 4.
You know I got to roll with my girl. She's won me a lot in these predictions. I'm going Jade for 5. I don't disagree that she's had it a long time. I want to see her in the main title picture. But if I had the pencil, I pulled the trigger. I don't know who against at All In. That's where I changed the title.
Well, how about this? No, we don't change the title at All In. We build up to that. We build Jade up to All In, then put the belt on Jade. Biggest stage. Come on.
Yeah, see, I'm differing from you guys already on the last 2, so this could be real interesting for me. Real interesting. All right, let's go with the other women's match for the world title. Rematch from Full Gear. Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm.
I got Jamie Hayter 6.
You got to have that haterade. I went 5.
I agree with you both, but I went Jamie for 3. A little lower, but yeah, I'd be surprised if she loses. The International Blackjack Battle Royale, we don't even know all the participants, but we know OC is defending. So, do you have OC or do you not have OC? That is, you don't even have to pick anybody else. OC or no?
Well, I got OC for 1.
I've got anybody other than OC for 1.
Okay.
I actually went Ricky Starks. I'll say it.
If anybody else wins, you get the point. So that's how I'll do it. It's too hard. I went OC for 7.
Holy
wow.
And my reasoning was, the more I thought about it today, I think OC barely survives and we get a feud coming out of this. And whoever he's feuding with eventually takes it off him. I don't know who that's going to be. But I could get burned big time on that, but taking a chance.
If that's what cost me the belt, I'm okay with that.
FTR tag team title championship match. FTR versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, with Mark Briscoe as the special referee.
First defense, FTR 8. That kind of shows my hand on the last match.
I went. Yeah, last 2.
Oh, yeah, I guess
3. I guess we got 3 still, don't we?
3. Oh, yeah.
I stuck with their nickname 7 for FTR.
7. Well, we're all in agreement here. I went FTR for 8. The IWC would freak out, good and bad, if Lethal and Jarrett won this. But I don't see it happening. FTR is too hot. They just won the titles. They're going to give them a long title reign. We need to see them against Aussie Open. We need to see them against the Bucks. There's just multiple teams we need to see them against. It's not their time to lose it. FTR for 8.
And my confidence points actually went up when I saw Aussie Open signed.
Yeah. Because they said Davis is going to be out only about 6 weeks. So he could be back for Forbidden Door. Forbidden Door's probably pushing it. But he'll be back for
I'm thinking All In London.
Yeah. Unsanctioned match now with Sabu and Adam Cole's corner. Adam Cole versus Chris Jericho.
I got Adam Cole for 2.
I got Adam Cole for 9.
Ooh.
Let's go, Jericho.
Yeah, JAS could get involved. I got Adam Cole Bebe for 6. I don't see him losing his first big feud since coming back, and I think he's the next challenger to MJF.
Oh, well, you just showed your hand there of who you got.
I don't care. That's no secret. Anarchy in the Arena, BCC versus the Elite.
I got the Elite for 4.
I got the Elite for 8 because neither Brian nor Moxley have done well in Anarchy in the Arena.
It's true.
And everything big like this that the Elite has been involved in, Stadium Stampede, anything, they always seem to come out on top. So I'm pulling for the Elite with 8.
Let's go BCC. I got BCC for 1. I think this rivalry goes until a blood and guts match down the line. So I guess I'm rooting for BCC. And lastly, the main event, the Pillars match, the Fatal 4-Way for the AEW World Championship. MJF, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
MJF for 9.
MJF for 6.
I am with MJF for 9. I've let that secret out of the bag weeks ago. I think both Shep and I did. There was an episode you weren't joining us, Paul. We both kind of said, kind of laid our cards out there that no way MJF loses this. But
no.
What makes you go? I'm just curious, Paul. What makes you go with MJF for only 6?
I almost win 9, but literally my last 2 matches that I did were Adam Cole and MJF. I feel stronger about Adam Cole winning than I do MJF. MJF burns me every time I put big points on him. So
looking at Paul's and I picked, we picked everything the same except one match. That's the 21-man battle royal. So I got 1 point on Orange Cassidy, and he has 1 point on not Orange Cassidy. Other than that, we picked the same.
I differ from you boys a lot, but I am going to throw a proposition out there. And Shep, you're the one to say yes or no because you are the reigning defending KLP Predictions champion. I'm proposing another additional 5 points on the main event for whoever can guess who takes the pinfall or submission. You can take it or leave it.
I'm in.
So we each can say who we think is going to take the pinfall or submission. If you're right, you get 5 extra points. And we can go same order again.
We all pick the same guy.
We could.
I'm picking Sammy.
Okay.
You might as well mark it as 2 while you're right there, Tanner.
Okay.
I've thought since MJF said, I'll give you this check if you lay down, Sammy was taking the pinfall. So,
well, I'm differing, and I was going to differ anyways. I'm going Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
I was teetering back and forth. Yeah, that's a good one.
Especially with tonight, he got the upper hand on MJF. I think MJF hits him with a ring or something shady. Something he won't win clean. He'll do something shady. So,
I knew Darby's not taking that pin clean.
I don't think so either.
Out of all the whole group.
I don't think so either. And I think, I'm not saying we're ready for a Jack Perry heel turn, but he's starting to get some edginess to him, which is good for his character. But I think they kind of want to build Sammy almost as a face with some of the reactions he's getting lately. And Darby, of course, is a face. So We'll see. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun predictions to follow. Some interesting picks across the board. So
I hope Paul and I dominate Tanner until the Battle Royal. Because if that's the case, this thing ain't going nowhere.
That's what it's going to come down to.
Hey,
if it comes down to that Battle Royal, I'm completely fine. And because I've been getting my rear end kicked when it comes to women's matches. So
I got orange for 7 in the Battle Royal, but if it comes down to that, I'm in trouble because that means I missed the TNT, I missed the women's title.
You missed the TNT,
Anarchy,
the Anarchy,
everything, the main event.
Yeah, you got 4 circles against Paul and I's same picks.
I love it because I felt like at Revolution we all pretty much agreed, and Revolution's Paul's show. Can't beat him at Revolution.
Yeah, until this year.
Oh, you took it. No, you took it at the ROH show.
Yeah.
That's where you want it. That's right. So, all right. Well,
because I retained and then quickly lost.
So this is the 5th Double or Nothing.
Wait a minute. Hold on. So you're saying you're quit, Paul. Sorry. I mean, you put that on a tee. I had to take a swing. Hey, if you talk to Dax, check out Blue Chew.
Yeah, that's a sponsor we need to get. I would love to take a rotation at those reads.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Hey, as much as I love Dax, and he's my favorite professional wrestler as of right now, Blue Chew, I could give you guys some exciting readings on said Blue Chew.
He'd probably make me blush.
We'll make Tanner blush. It makes his orange shirt make his face look red.
Look like brother love out here. Before we get into, I know we got a list to go over and a Cody segment to go over, but I wanted to get your guys' opinion. This is going to be our 5th Double or Nothing pay-per-view, which I still think they need to run it away from Vegas next year. But looking back on the Double or Nothings, what is your guys' favorite match from Double or Nothing over the years, would you say?
Oh.
Or you can name a couple, I guess, if it makes it easier. But
I don't think this was a match, but I'm guessing the biggest spot I've ever Double or Nothing was Moxley's debut, wasn't it?
Right after Jericho and Omega, which was a good match.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
I know it's not a match, but I mean,
it was a heck of a moment.
Yeah.
I think I got to go back to that one with the Cody and Dustin. They tore the house down that night with blood, and that I hadn't been that emotionally involved in the match in a long time. I thought they killed it. They wanted to have that WrestleMania match. WWE always said no, 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 and they told them to shove it up their ass. And he broke the throne, which is. We'll get into it in our segment coming up, which is really weird to look back on now. But that whole thing. And I also really like the Stadium Stampede matches, the first one especially in 2020. I know it was weird at Daly's Place and the pandemic with COVID and everything. But for that one night, it took my mind away from everything. It was just pure entertainment. Paul, anything?
Those are all good matches. Yeah, I was just sitting here, taking in what you guys said because, I was going to say Moxley's debut was a good one. Moxley Kenny was good.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed last year's Anarchy in the Arena match. So that was a lot of fun.
Last year's Anarchy in the Arena match, but I got to go right there, right along with you, Tanner. The Rhodes Boys match was fantastic.
Well, I know you got the painting behind you there of them. So, yep. So, yeah, that build was fun. Cody was trying to kill the Attitude Era. Dustin proved he could still go. That was a lot of fun. But also, it's, looking back on it, sadly, is Brody Lee's title shot against Moxley in 2020, which he delivered in that match, too. It's just sad looking back what we could have got out of him going forward that we didn't, unfortunately. So
yeah,
but a lot of good matches, and I hope Sunday. I've seen some people crapping on the card a little bit, but I think it'll deliver. I think it'll over deliver. I should say. I think it'll be good.
Yeah,
think it'll be good. So, all right. Do we want to do Cody segment next or our list?
Let's do the Cody segment real quick.
All right.
I think it'll be a little quicker.
Yeah. So Cody Rhodes, he was featured heavily on Monday Night Raw this week. 3 different times, I think he was on camera.
What do you want to talk about?
Yeah. So what do you guys want to talk about? We want to talk about Cowboy Brock Lesnar taking it to Cody this week. Attacks Cody when Cody's just making his way backstage to the ring and beats the crap out of him, throws him into some kegs and hits him with a keg. And Cowboy Brock was pretty fired up. And then I didn't really care for the next segment with Cody came out without a shirt on and was selling the arm injury. Like, this is reminding me of when he did the pec injury with Seth, but Brock stepped on his arm. But I thought the ending of the show was really interesting with Trips and Cody. For one, I'm like, this is still crazy to me that we're getting these two on TV together after everything that happened. I mean, going back to 2019 Double or Nothing, just smashing the throne and everything.
Yeah.
Triple H trying to talk him out of it. Cody said he's going to show up at Night of Champions on Saturday for a fight. But it was the smirk at the end from Triple H. That smirk, I'm like, is he setting Cody up? Are we going to get a Triple H back on TV as a heel?
But which would be perfect, but Trips can't perform anymore.
No, he can't, even though that's the match. Cody has been on record. That's the match he would love. That's like his dream match, but I don't think we're going to get that.
That's not going to happen.
But it leads me to believe that Cody's losing on Saturday.
No, Cody can't lose. If they're gonna tell this story all the way to SummerSlam, he's got to somehow gut out a performance and win, and that boosts him for the next 2 months. SummerSlam's in August, right?
Yeah, they got Money in the Bank before that over in England.
Yeah, because SummerSlam's in Detroit in August.
Yep.
So you gotta. I guess he could win Money in the Bank. But I just don't see it. If you're going to continue the story, if you're going to somehow top WrestleMania, he's got to go over Brock twice. And then maybe win Money in the Bank with Brock in the match.
I think we get a trilogy. I think we get the third. I think Brock goes over Saturday because I know Brock's a part-timer, but also you can't have him taking too many losses, especially 2 back-to-back. And this way, Cody's fighting with one arm. It's more understandable if he loses. So I think Cody loses here, gets away from Brock for a little bit. He's in the Money in the Bank match, and for whatever reason, Brock comes out, costs him that. You get the trilogy at SummerSlam. Cody goes over Brock there. Then he starts building himself back up for WrestleMania 40 to get Roman. That's my opinion. That's what I would do if I had the pencil.
So you guys, if that happens at SummerSlam, you got to get Cody through
Survivor
Series and Royal Rumble.
I know. I don't know how you do that, but I've also heard the backers of WWE saying this is exactly why they couldn't put the title on Cody at WrestleMania, because what do you do with him after he beats Roman with the title?
Have him defend it against everybody.
I don't know. Have your writers do the
Unify
job.
I will say, I was thinking about the programs Cody's been involved in since he returned. Had that trilogy with Seth, then he got hurt. But that's a huge name. Came back, won the Rumble. Then he was with Roman. Now he's with Brock. And all of a sudden Triple H is getting involved. Those are the who's who of WWE. So they're using him correctly. I still think they made a mistake by not pulling the trigger at WrestleMania 39. Don't get me wrong. But I am, I guess, willing to let the story play out a little longer, is what I'm trying to say.
I don't know if I want Roman champ for, till Mania again.
You're saying that because you're a Cody fan.
You're right.
And I'm right there with you. I still think they shit the bed in WrestleMania. So if they have him go over Brock, especially go over Brock with with one wing. He's down a wing. And then somehow at Money in the Bank involve him again. If you don't put and I know the title change at SummerSlam is not the same as a title change at WrestleMania, but it's what Cody wants. So, and maybe Cody then defends it at Survivor Series or has a team event at Survivor Series. Somehow comes out of Royal Rumble and then turns around and beats him again at WrestleMania 40. It's in Philly, right?
Philly, yeah, which is a tough crowd.
Yeah, 40-year anniversary, Philly. I know The Rock's supposed to be involved.
They blew that they should have The Rock at Hollywood.
You know what? Philly's a way better wrestling town than Hollywood.
It is. I'm not disagreeing with you at all there, but just with The Rock associated with Hollywood, it was there for the making, and they blew it.
I'm pretty sure Rock Stone Cold was in Philly, right?
WrestleMania 15, yep. The first of their trilogy.
Hey, Paul, you remember that old trivia question we talked about? We did that little segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pete Rose was the Philly fanatic and got beat up by Kane. That night, yeah.
Because that was the old Jim Ross came back and called that match. He was nervous after his
Bell's palsy.
Bell's palsy. I was going to say cerebral palsy. Bell's palsy. Yeah. Yeah, he was. I remember reading that in his book. He was like, look, you guys requested me. You're going to throw me out here and do this. And he did just fine.
Yep.
So, anyways.
And of course, nobody can yell Stone Cold better than JR anyway. So
That's true.
No. Not
By the
at
way,
all.
speaking of Stone Cold, I thought one of the best comments came out of Stone Cold this past week. He said that out of all the people that have ever sold a Stone Cold Stunner, Pat McAfee was in the top 5.
Yep.
And if you watch that, the way he sold that, he spit the beer out and he rolled out on the floor, and then Stone Cold threw a beer at him actually as he's laying there, and he just chugged it,
Yeah.
dribbled out of the side of his mouth.
He was living the best life.
Yes, and what a $1 million segment there with Stone Cold and Pat McAfee. That probably Tanner and Paul. I don't know if you were a big Pat McAfee fan like I was before he got into professional wrestling. Never thought in my dreams that I thought my favorite punter would be one of my favorite wrestlers.
And now, unfortunately, I don't think we'll see him involved much with WWE with his new deal with ESPN. But good for him. That's a big money deal. I just hope they don't mess with the show too much.
It's a big money deal. And look, I always felt like Pat was going against the grain. When he signed with Barstool, everything was good at Barstool. And then he did this little documentary where he was a single-A professional baseball player for a day, and he videotaped it. He wanted to sell it for money. And the Barstool exec said, we don't know if we want that. It's art. We want a piece of that pie. And so he split from Barstool. Everybody's thought, oh, man, you're dumb splitting from Barstool. And he grew it to the conglomerate he had. I think DraftKings was his big guy. And then he got into
FanDuel.
Sorry, FanDuel.
That's all right.
They're competitors.
Yeah.
But then he got in WWE and he was doing all that stuff. And then I don't want to say he succumbed to the money, but he's going to ESPN. And
he's got a kid now, I mean, not.
Yeah.
He's already got play money, but.
Yeah.
But no, he sold a stunner. The Rock was the best at selling a stunner. Scott Hall, legendary one at WrestleMania 18 in Toronto when he looked like he was flying in outer space. Rest in peace. Bad guy.
R.I.P. Hey, R.I.P. to superstar Billy Graham.
Yes, last week.
We lost him last week.
Yep. One last thing I want to say, you brought up Stone Cold before we get into our list, because I know this could fire you guys up. You might have saw it today. Did you see the crazy take from a legendary wrestler on what he wants one more match today against Stone Cold? Did you see this?
No.
I did not.
Hulk Hogan said he wants one more match. He wants Stone Cold at WrestleMania 40 for a proper retirement match. And he was announcing today his new company. He's selling mushrooms and I think gummies. And because he says he feels like he's 25 again. He feels like he's the best he's felt in his life. I'm like, that doesn't work for me, brother. I don't want to see that. Sorry.
I mean, he's got 2 hips and 1 knee at least.
Tons of crap in his back. All I can think of him in late in his career is that TNA run. That was bad enough. I don't need to see any more. No. Nope. All right, with that said, speaking of Hulk Hogan, speaking of Stone Cold Steve Austin, 2 guys who have changed this industry. Last week we got in a conversation of our top 5 greatest professional wrestlers of all time. We gave each other some homework to come up with a list, so that's what we did. So starting with number 5, we'll go the same order we did our predictions. Austin, I want to know, in your opinion, who the 5th greatest professional wrestler of all time is.
So I have 2 names with a dash.
Okay.
And I'll tell you a little bit of a background on my picks. And it is who has entertained me the most over my professional wrestling watching career.
I like that.
Okay.
That's how I did mine too.
Okay. And I have a dash there. And if you're going to make me pick one, it's going to be Kenny Omega.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. Who has entertained me over his matches over the last, let's just say, 6 to 7 years. When I started watching professional wrestling for enjoyment, like, I've always watched it, back in the 90s or whatever. We watched it on Monday nights, Thursday nights, Tuesday nights, whatever night it was on. But when I decided to dive back into the sport of professional wrestling and I got into New Japan, ROH, and other promotions, and I learned about Kenny Omega. So Kenny Omega is my 5th on that one.
I like it.
And if you want to know who my dash is, and it'll throw you guys off, Paul's going to roll his eyes. It's Will Ospreay. And the only reason he did not make it over Kenny is because I've only watched Will for the last maybe 3 years, maybe 4, but yeah.
If we're going active wrestlers, they definitely would be on my top 5. Both of them. Neither one made my top 5. Kenny was on my honorable mention. But, and I'll spoiler, I don't have any current AEW talent in my top 5. I have some of my Steen's on my honorable mention.
I don't either,
But yeah. Paul, number 5 for you?
HBK, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. I've
Can't argue
enjoyed
against
watching
that.
Shawn. I've enjoyed watching him as long as I can remember. Always entertained me. Always looked forward to an HBK segment until he cut his hair. HBK, I mean, he's got to be in everybody's top 5, right?
Let us know your 2 AEW guys in your top 5 there. I'll be interested. My number 5, John Cena. He was a guy, I will be honest, when he was an everyday active WWE superstar, he wore on me a little bit. I got kind of tired of him, but since he's been away for the business, I've been able to reflect on what he did exactly. I mean, 16-time world champion, ties Ric Flair for the most championships all time. Even though Flair technically won more than that, but they say 16. Just everything he did, too, for the Make-A-Wish. And the guy carried the company on his back in kind of a low time in the company's history. So, yeah, Cena. I didn't care for his match against Theory this year, but just the fact he comes back once in a while for a short run says a lot. And, the dude went against everybody for a decade. And,
I appreciate that he puts Theory over, though.
Yeah, I do too. And he always seemed to do the right for the business. I'm sure he had a tough time putting The Rock over, to be honest, when he did at the WrestleMania 28, but he got it back at 29. So, yeah, I'll go with You Can't See Me for number 5. It says here, Jericho and Sting, when it's all said and done, Omega will be there too. Yeah, Jericho's on my honorable mention. He was real close to number 5 on my list, just from a creativity standpoint, how he can recreate his character over and over again. It's unbelievable. And the guy's 8-time world champ. That's just world champ, not counting Intercontinental, tag, all that. So, all right, Shep, number 4.
Okada.
Okay. The Rainmaker.
Maybe the top 3 or 4 in Japan of all time. There was a couple top guys in Japan that were before my time. Okay, another guy that really tickled me in New Japan that I thought could make this list was Jushin Thunder Liger. I thoroughly enjoyed him when he would come over to WCW back in the day. Super entertaining. Obviously, a WWE Hall of Famer. I don't know how that works, but I don't know if he ever performed in the WWE at all. But
just because they own the rights to WCW.
Yeah, he had a couple matches, but I think Okada really deserves to be in the top 5 of all time.
So you really like Forbidden Door then, or the concept of Forbidden Door? That's what I'm getting. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Paul, number 4.
Chris Jericho. I've been a Jericho fan since his time in WCW. I'll never forget the promo where he went out there and just listed off, 1,001 different moves, just because he could. Went through an entire commercial break and kept talking the entire time. So I've always been a Jericho fan. I'll always be a Jericho fan. And yeah, he's number 4 for me.
He's creative. He's still good to this day. I had a real tough time leaving him off this list, but he was an honorable mention for me. Number 4 for me, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I know a lot of people just accomplishments say, well, he was only a 6-time WWF champion. Yeah, but he carried it each time for a long time. He was the face of not only the company, but professional wrestling at the time, in the hottest wrestling period of all time. And he, along with probably Hulk Hogan, maybe John Cena's up there now, of course The Rock, are some of the guys where even if you don't like professional wrestling, you know who they are. And Stone Cold was definitely that. The brand itself, humongous. I still always wondered to this day what Stone Cold's career would have been like if the curtain call didn't happen, because Triple H was supposed to win. Hunter Hearst Helmsley at the time was supposed to win King of the Ring. Therefore, Austin 316 segment against Jake Snake Roberts would have never happened. I think Steve still would have had a good career, but I don't think it ever would have reached the heights that it did. So,
right,
it's kind of one of those crazy what ifs. But Stone Cold will always be one of the more entertaining acts, in my opinion. Number 3, Shep.
QT Marshall. All right, I'm just joking.
Poor QT.
You guys laughed, so hopefully anybody.
Because it was funny.
Laughed. But no, number 3, I got Shawn Michaels, Heartbreak Kid. Many matches that I watched him. The Iron Man match with Bret Hart, one of my favorite matches of all time.
That match has been on IWC a lot lately because it's either a lot of people's favorite or they call it the most overrated match.
I thoroughly enjoy. It's 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And after about 20 to 25 minutes into that match, you get so many, I don't want to call it false finishes, but you get so many
close falls.
Yeah, because it's, we had so many pinfalls in that match, so it had you on the edge. I love the match with Stone Cold and Shawn with Mike Tyson involved. Yep. I thought that was a great match too.
Mania 14.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
I thought that was another great match of Shawn's. Obviously, the ladder matches with Razor Ramon, right?
WrestleMania 10. Yep.
Yeah, that was another great one. I was thoroughly the Montreal Screwjob. I mean, he was in the middle of it. Shawn Michaels was one hell of a performer, one hell of a storyteller.
Yep.
Not the biggest guy in the room, so he had to make up for it. Which, if you would think of Vince McMahon's typical professional wrestler back in the day, Shawn did not fit the mold, so he had to do something different to elevate himself into the main event scene, and he did. So, Shawn Michaels, number 3, for sure.
Majin here, appreciate him tuning in again. He said Jericho's number 1 for him because of how he's always reinvented himself. One of a short list to also give back to the industry by putting himself over or putting others over, and the fact that he can get anything over. And here's his top 5. He's got Jericho 1, Owen Hart 2, Dusty Rhodes 3, Sting 4, Ric Flair 5. I like the shout to Owen there. Owen's one of the more underrated talents of all time.
I can respect that.
He said he might be a little biased. Well, you're Canadian. That's okay. I respect that. I respect that big time. Paul, who's your number 3?
The Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Woo!
Woo! I've always enjoyed what Rick's done. I think,
likes the kettle.
Yeah,
Rick likes the kettle.
Yeah, there's almost as many Rick stories outside of the ring as there are inside of the ring. And that just makes him entertaining. And like we talked, this was kind of built off of who entertained me. So I had to go with Flair for 3.
Well, I agreed with Shep here. I went HBK Shawn Michaels as my number 3. I mean, you look at his career, he wasn't a huge guy who won a lot of championships. He held the WWF Championship 3 times, the World Heavyweight Championship once, won that at the first Elimination Chamber, Intercontinental 3 times, European 1, Tag Team 1, the World Tag Team 5 times, 2-time Royal Rumble, winner. But the guy, just like Shep said, found ways to get over in the ring every time. Every night you knew he was going to be the showstopper. He was going to steal the show. He was going to have great matches. Didn't matter if it was Mania. I mean, Shep named a few of his classics. Also, a few I want to name. Triple Threat with Benoit and Triple H at WrestleMania 20. Angle at 21, one of the best matches I've ever seen. Even him and Cena at 23 was good. He and Rick in the retirement match, 24, talking about getting emotion involved. He and Taker both times, 25, 26. Even the special guest referee in the Hell in a Cell at Mania 28 was great. I wish he wouldn't have come back in Saudi when he did with the shaved head and everything. I wish he would have just stayed retired, not come back for that one-off, but is what it is, even though that was the worst tag team match I've ever seen in my life. But
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, HBK's, it never... Maybe we should do a watch along sometime just to get your reaction.
No.
But
Yes.
HBK, awesome guy and just so good in the ring. So good. I mean, that my list was kind of guys who could entertain me, but also some longevity, some good in-ring work. I kind of had a mix in there. And HBK, I don't know how somebody can make a list of top 5 without HBK, to be honest. But people do.
I think I said that, didn't I, Shep?
You did. Maybe.
People do.
Stealing my words.
Majin here says, yes, but Owen was the one who also made me want to get into the business as well. At the time, you didn't see many guys who wrestled like him. Very true.
It's true.
Very true.
They always talked about Owen coming out of Canada, and he worked like a luchador.
Yeah.
He had that much ability and athleticism. You know, he was not your typical Canadian wrestler coming out of Canada because he could do the flips and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Definitely different for the Hart family. That's for sure.
Yeah, Owen was different for sure.
Number 2, Shep.
The son of a plumber, baby. Dusty Rhodes.
Love it.
And here's why I love Dusty Rhodes. And I was a young kid, and I caught the tail end of the territory days, right? But the more I look back in it, the more I study it, Dusty Rhodes was just your blue collar, and I know he used that as a gimmick. But you know what? He got us all involved. We all loved him. You know, he had, he and I hope it's real, Cody. But he had a speech impediment. He had the lisp, baby. Lisp. You know, Cody talks with the lisp, and I hope it's real with Cody, and I hope he doesn't push it a little bit. But you know, dude, if you were not entertained by Dusty Rhodes in the 80s and 90s, then I mean, come on, you were a pencil, you were a prude. I love the guy, and there's only one other guy that I love more, and he's my number one. But I mean, Dusty Rhodes to me, damn near was the perfect professional wrestler for the everyday fan, because he wasn't chiseled. He had a belly on him, okay, but he could talk. Man, could he freaking talk on there? And he'd get you involved, and he'd get you entertained, and you were ready to run through a freaking brick wall for Dusty Rhodes.
The guy got polka dots over. Not easy to do.
Polka dots over. He makes a overweight extreme wrestler that still wears polka dots to this day gets over because of it.
Yep.
Shout out Tommy Dreamer.
Majan said Dusty was one who drew actual emotions out. When the Horseman broke his leg before one of his NWA title matches with Flair, it cut to the crowd, and there were people legitimately crying. Absolutely.
Yeah. Back in the day, those people did not know the difference. Like kayfabe was life.
Yep.
If they were caught in a car riding a face and a heel, those guys got fined.
My dad tells me a story where he was on a plane one time. It was Macho Man, Miss Elizabeth, and then the Iron Sheik was on the plane too, and they were rivals. And that's when Dad first figured, because my dad used to watch professional wrestling at a time. That's when he first figured out, like, wait a second, what's going on here? Why are they on the plane together? And they're pretty close to each other, and they're not like pissed off and fighting. So that was kind of his first tipping point. Oh, okay, maybe this is a little scripted. But no, Dusty's a good one. Dusty's a good one. Paul, number 2.
The most electrifying man in all of sports entertainment, The Rock. Again, I built my list off of people who can entertain me, and I remember as a kid spending every day trying to do the freaking eyebrow thing. I got close. I never nailed it all the way, but you know.
Now, Paul, when you said the most electrifying man, I thought you were going to say PCO. Sorry.
Oh boy.
Sorry, that was mean. I'm cracking myself up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no. Yeah. Just I'm not even touching it. I'm just But yeah, the Rock. I mean, how can you not? I mean, comes out with a flamethrower at WrestleMania. The moment, even before he added the whole "if you smell what the Rock is cooking," his music hits, the fans pop. You gotta love the guy.
He was on my honorable mention. He is one of my favorite, if not my favorite all-time wrestler. He got me back into wrestling when he returned to the WWE in 2011. I had about a 4 or 5 year stint I wasn't watching, and he legitimately got me back in. I haven't stopped watching since.
And let's not forget, his little segment where he reminded Vicky how terrible she looks tonight.
You know what? The big thing with The Rock was back in the day when there was no restrictions to his promos. I don't want to compare him to MJF because MJF is not there yet, but his promos were some of the most entertaining promos of all time, and they made you laugh, they made you chuckle, like you were like, don't stop talking because we're enjoying this.
Yep.
I mean, that was The Rock.
Yep.
For sure. His in-ring work was good, but man, could he could make that mic turn on fire. And it was $1 million. Good for him.
Major said Justin Liger just missed his top 5, so he's right there with you, Shep.
I love Jushin Liger, man. That match with him and Brian Pillman, I think it might have been the original Nitro in the mall. What was that?
Mall of America?
Yeah. Oh, man. I think they were on that show, weren't they?
I just remember Luger came out. That's just on replay I've watched. I was too young. I was really young at the time, so not trying to age you guys or anything here. But good one, Paul. I like The Rock. Good one. My number 2 is The Undertaker. You look at his statistics. He was only WWF/WWE champion 4 times. He was world heavyweight champion 3 times. Hardcore once. World tag 6 times. WCW tag once. Royal Rumble winner only once in 2007. But the longevity of the dude. And I know his matches weren't that great towards the end, but the longevity, it was always a spectacle when he came to the ring. I mean, as bad as the Great American Bash 2006 was, I'm always thankful I got to see The Undertaker perform. Got to see that entrance in person.
Punjabi prison match.
Yeah, the Punjabi prison match sucked against the Big Show, but that is what it is. But yeah, I mean, there won't be anybody who does it as long as Undertaker. The dude's a phenom, and he's a legend for a reason. Another one that you can probably ask a lot of non-wrestling fans that they would know, The Undertaker. And the streak was special within itself, which was fun. So, Ooh, here's a good one. Majin said, just curious, but where would you guys put Edge?
Ooh.
He wasn't on my honorable mention, I'll be honest, but I definitely think he's definitely top 20, borderline top 15 for me.
I'd say top 20.
His accolades are good. It's been fun what he's done since he's returned. He's a guy that's grown on me as I've gotten older.
He was towards the end of the Attitude Era. With that, obviously, that's where the Rated R came on. Him and Lita.
Yeah, that was good stuff against Cena.
Yeah, that was good. And then maybe one of the most emotional returns when he surprised the Rumble.
Man. Goosebumps.
Because not only did we all get goosebumps, the dude was darn near tearing up down the aisle. So
then the dumbass camera guy missed the spear on Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, I like
unbelievable.
I would say he's close to the top 20 for me for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely in top 20. Maybe that's for another pod someday. I'll rank my other 5 in top 10 and on so on. So, all right, I think I know who Shep's number 1 is, but it's that time to reveal your number 1, Shep.
Dax.
What are you just assuming or what? To me, and as much as I love Dax Harwood, and y'all know that, I think Dax Harwood is $1 million, but he's a tag team, okay? My number 1 professional wrestler of all time, and it started back in the 90s, and I think it escalated in the 2000s, and maybe even escalated more later in the 2000s, like the 2010s and up. And there's only one. There's never going to be another. That's the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. And I'll tell you what, I've watched the Peacock documentary on the cock. That the worst streaming platform.
It is awful. It is awful.
But I've watched that documentary that I think ESPN's involved in, whatever. And I've watched that probably 5 or 6 times. And every time I watch it, I'm more entertained. He is the human being that he is. And he's just like, look, my name is Richard Flair. And I actually watched it the other day, and his birth name is completely different, not even close. But his adopted name is Richard Fleer, and he goes by Ric Flair. And he cannot tell the difference between Richard Fleer and Ric Flair. And, I mean, to this day, he's 70-some years old, and he's Ric Flair. He's going to go out tonight. It's 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and he's probably sitting at a bar right now. He loves to drink Kettle One and cranberries, or he loves some tequila and cranberries as watching that documentary. But he's probably drinking those right now going, I'm not Richard Fliehr. I'm Ric Flair.
He lives his gimmick.
And on top of that, yeah, we talked about living your gimmick. But obviously the guy could work. The guy worked 340 days a year.
Yeah.
And the NWA, back when the NWA was significant, not knocking Billy Corgan today.
Oh, I will.
Well, I'm just saying.
When you have Tyrus as your champ.
Yeah. Anyways.
We're getting funky.
The Funkadactyls. Damn it, Tanner. No.
NWA when it's significant.
Yeah. When you're working 340 days a year for the NWA and the NWA trusted you with that title to go to all those territories and work 60-minute Broadways, because that's what he did a lot of the time, 30-minute Broadways or 60-minute Broadways. He went into those towns and it was him. He lived his gimmick, and he'll tell you he was a shitty father. You know, and it caught up to him. But to this day, he's still Ric Flair. I mean, literally the GOAT of all time. Mm-hmm. That's him.
Majin says sometime we should do a top 5 tag teams or stables.
I like that idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, Paul, you're number 1.
Demolition. Oh, I love Demolition back in the day.
You would like Demolition.
I would love. Well, what does that mean? You didn't like Demolition?
You know, I haven't watched much of them. I'm familiar with them. I haven't watched much of them, though.
Well, I'm older than you. I know. Demolition.
All right.
Nasty Boys. Nasty Boys are good. Sorry.
Brian Knobs.
Oh.
We should have, showed him that after the show. And then we could have just both logged off and just let him keep rambling on. All right. So my number 1, 2 words for you. Hot times. Dusty Rhodes. I mean, I grew up with the Rhodes. Dusty was very entertaining. He did so much for the business. He trained so many young talents. Not to mention, I am a Rhodes boy. I think the photo back there gives it away. I actually have a Dusty picture as well, but that's in another position in another place. But always wanted the chance, or always wanted to get the chance to meet the man. Never got the chance, but Dusty, looked up to him since I was a kid.
Good one. Another good one. I'm agreeing with Shep here. My number 1 is Nature Boy, Ric Flair. I mean, the guy is not only like you said, like everything Shep said, I could piggyback off of. I mean, 16-time world champ, but he's a pop culture icon. I mean, when you have sports teams going 2 claps into Ric Flair, woo! I mean, everybody knows woo. I mean, the guy's robes. His robes speak for themselves. He's in music videos to this day. When I think of the Big Gold, I think of Ric Flair right away. When I hear his son-in-law, the Podfather, Conrad Thompson, do any podcast, I think of Ric Flair right away. I mean, you just, as a pro wrestling fan, you can't get away from the guy. Not saying you want to, but you can't. And even everything you said, Paul, earlier, stories outside the ring. Some of them a little disturbing, but a lot of them incredible.
I mean, the guy survived 2 plane crashes.
Yeah, unbelievable. And I'm showing my age again. My first memory of Flair was late WCW, but I didn't really enjoy him then. But I learned to enjoy him when he was with Evolution. I thought he was great with Evolution. I thought his run was very underrated with Evolution. And then, of course, the TNA
it's
stuff.
It's just a mystery.
Yep. He needed the money. So, but he's one I have enjoyed going back on Peacock and watching some old stuff because him and Dusty, their rivalry, things like that. I've educated myself more. I still think the WCW blew it, or when they brought him in, or WWF blew it. Excuse me, by not having him and Hogan at WrestleMania when they should have, and had Hogan to go against Sid and had Flair against Macho. But story for another day. But he was the man wherever he went. He'll always be the man, and pure legend.
And if you never caught on, to do kind of a little bit of a tribute to Flair, if you look closely at that thing that's above Tanner's head, it looks a little bit like the big gold belt. It's got the same design.
Above Austin's head?
Yeah, I meant shit.
It will be above my head come next week, Paul. You're just looking at your crystal ball. So
easy there, Paul.
I've been up since 4 a.m.
Well, we won't keep it much longer. I did have a few other names on my honorable mention. I had Hulk Hogan. I don't care for the guy anymore, but at the time growing up and even in the 80s, entertaining. He moved the business, maybe him and Stone Cold more than anybody else. Bret Hart, another one I've learned to appreciate the older I've got. I found him boring as a kid, but I mean, the ultimate technician. And then Kurt Angle. Never seen a guy pick up professional wrestling faster than that guy.
So I had 5 guys that I didn't necessarily watch growing up, but I learned about them as I got into this lovely habit or hobby, I'm going to call. One of mine is Terry Funk.
Talk about a guy who wrestled forever.
Yeah, Terry Funk went from a NWA mat technician to a hardcore legend, right? He was one of them. Harley Race. He was another guy.
Pioneer.
That, again, I watched just tapes. I couldn't watch them live because I was such a little kid. And another guy, Jerry Lawler.
Yeah. Memphis territories.
Oh, Jerry Lawler, that thing he had with Andy Kaufman, and we've had not Dark Side of the Rings, but whatever, Tales from the Territory. That's what it was. Yeah, that was another one. And then the other one, the Von Erichs.
Yeah.
I love the Von Erichs. So watching all those, and then all of a sudden you think, oh man, it just steamrolls. The Freebirds. I mean, we could go on and on and on.
Doot. Michael Hayes.
But those are just some of those that just probably the top 20 of mine. And then we're missing one right now, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Well, I got to throw another active guy in there on my honorable mention, Randy Orton. I've always been a big Randy Orton guy. I think he
not active. Not active.
Well,
hopefully he comes back.
Injured.
You know what? And I remember watching the dirt sheets when they started out back in the day. And you guys will laugh at this. And I think we talked about it before. One of the first dirt sheets that I learned on was Jimmy Van.
Jimmy Van, who owns Fightful.
Yeah. So that was back when I was in high school. Okay? I'm 40 years old, so you do the freaking math. But back then, Jimmy Van would report that Randy Orton was not well liked.
Oh, he's an asshole when he's young.
Yeah, and they had to put him in his place numerous times.
Oh
yeah. When he was in his early 20s and stuff.
Oh yeah.
He was down in OVW with Cornette and all those guys. So.
Well, even his Evolution days, he got put in his place multiple times, but finally clicked with them, and ever since that, he's another one. He'll put a good match on with whoever, in my opinion. He's always entertaining. He can be a good face, but a better heel.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's all I got, Paul. I know you're ready to wrap this thing up.
No, not at all.
But looking forward to Sunday. Should be a fun show, and I'm ready to win that gold belt above Shep's head. Bring it to Allen County.
Nah, Allen County's a bunch of wussies.
All right. Before we get into a feud here or down another rabbit hole that takes us another 20 minutes, Shep.
Why do I always get blamed for that?
You're the rabbit hole king.
I am ashamed of all three of us. None of us have KOP merch on tonight, so.
You know what? I was getting ready to grab it, and then I sat down because I got distracted doing other stuff, and then I realized, oh crap, it's time to go.
I was too lazy to change my shirt, so that's my excuse.
Actually, I was the same way.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of KOP merch, you can go buy your KOP merch at kickingoutshop.com. We've got that promo code going for just a few more days.
Yeah, spring 23. It ends on Memorial Day, so get your orders in, 20% off.
So be sure to go get your KOP merchandise. Support a great podcast. Look great doing so. Be sure to follow the Kicking Out Podcast on all social media at Kicking Out Pod. Be sure to listen to the Kicking Out Podcast wherever it is you listen to your podcast. And if that happens to be that Apple Podcast site that everybody likes to go to, be sure to leave us that 5-star review because we are a 5-star KOP. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Tannerly at Tannerly92. Follow Austin Shepard at the Shep27. And be sure to follow myself at Paul Zartman. And with that, Tannerly and Austin Shepard, I'm Paul Zartman. Join us again next week as we kick out another podcast.